Hi everybody, welcome to tonight's live, the first Thursday night live of 2021. So here's hoping that it's a good and successful 2021. I'm going to waffle a little bit just to allow a little bit of time for people to jump on. I understand that it's to some of you guys joining tonight that it might be a whole new process to get onto YouTube and follow both myself, Nat's Crafty Life, and Paul, Scissors Paper Paul, for our live tutorials. So tonight we're going to be making these back to school boards. The camera's a little bit away, but you know, hopefully you can see that there. And we're also going to be talking about the different types of files that are available in Design Space, as well as the different types of vinyl you can work with. So feel free to jump on and say hello. I can't see any comments yet, but if you're here, please tell me that you're here. Let me know if you're new or anything like that, and I will say hello back, basically. We're going to try and work with a couple of different methods as well tonight. So one of the methods that I'm going to be working with is the baking paper method. So this is just some cheap baking paper from Woolies. It was probably the cheapest one I could find. And hopefully that will do the trick. Oh, hello Suzette. Hello Pezza. There might be a lag, that's probably why I can't see any comments. So at first I'm working with these clear acrylic boards. Oh, Happy New Year, Joe. So these clear acrylic, sorry, not clear, these are white acrylic boards. I got them originally from Exo Craft Blanks, but unfortunately at the moment they're not in stock. So I've also located very similar ones on laser blanks, but we're actually going to be working with a black one. And I'll just peel the top off this just so you can see that it will be a black one. So my first one will be for my niece. That's the one that I've already done. And this one here, hi Sharon, will be for my nephew. And it's just going to be like a blackboard. You'll just use blackboard liquid marker. So there's like the blackboard markers to draw on these ones. Whereas the white ones, you can just use an everyday whiteboard erase marker. So, how was everyone's Christmas? Did everyone have a really, really good Christmas? This is a great beginner project, even for you guys that are experienced. This is a really good project, but this is great for you guys who are new to Cricut, just bought your Cricut, just Santa was kind to you and just got you Cricut for Christmas. This is a great first project because it just works with your basics vinyl, which we all know is generally the first thing people jump in and do. Alrighty, excuse the noise around here. You may hear from time to time trucks or husbands, depending on which direction the noise comes from. So we're going to get started. So first and foremost, what we will do, and I do apologize, I may not be able to see as much as I'd like to. I'm going to jump into Design Space. So while I'm in Design Space, I won't actually be able to see any notes or comments, but I will come back and answer questions at some point as well. So I'm just going to go into my Design Space and open up the project in question. I have the link for the project, so I did post it, I believe, in the comments. I can't see the comments now, but I did post it, but I can always send it out later if you need it again. So there's two different projects here, and I'm just going to quickly zoom out so you can see. So there's two different projects here. I've got what I'm classing as the girl one. It doesn't need to be a girl version, but I thought with all the love hearts that it was quite feminine and, you know, may look a little bit too girly for boys. And then I've got this one here, which I'm still undecided on the colors. Now, to get the best for your sizing for your blanks, what you do need to do is you need to, well, I find it easy to create a square the size of your blanks. So in this instance, the size of my acrylic blank, and I'm just going to zoom out a little bit more, is exactly 7.75 inches by 11.75. So this gives me the base that I know that I'm trying to work within. So what I've done is I've placed it to the back. I'm not going to cut this piece, but I've placed it to the back so that I know roughly how big to make my design. So you can unlock it and make it any size that you like, but these are pre-done designs from Cricut Design Space. So they are very easy to just literally just grab them and go. So I'm happy with the size of it here. I think it looks well proportionate. Likewise with my white one, I've got my white piece of acrylic here. I did the same thing with this one, except it has 3 colors of layer. We're only going to be working with 2 tonight. So I guess first and foremost, there were some questions about the girl version one on how we could change it from being inches to centimeters. Now, I don't know this exact font. It looks similar to a font that I know, but I don't know this exact font. So the only way that I can make that change is for me to change the wording. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to I'm going to ungroup them. I'm going to take the black portion, which will be this one here. I'll bring the pink back over. So I'm going to take the black portion of it, and I'm actually going to take a square, and I'm going to slice off the word inches. So I'm going to resize it so that it covers only the word inches. Once there, I'm going to highlight them. You can see that both the square and the black portion are highlighted, and I'm going to hit slice. So once that's done, I can actually delete each piece that I don't need. And I'm left with this blank bit here. Now, the font that it is similar to is one that, oh, might help if I can just spell. I'm going to type in centimeters in text, and the font it is similar to is called KG Skinny Latte. And I would put it in bold because this all looks like it's in bold. And I would resize. It's not 100% the same, but it's very close. If anybody else knows the exact font it is called, then by all means jump in. But I'm actually going to duplicate it so that I can make it seem a little bit thicker. So I'm just going to move that and weld that together. And then just resize it slightly so it kind of fits. There we go. That looks about right. And then you can highlight them all and weld them back together. And then you have the centimeter version of it, which will then fit back in here. So that's how you can make those changes just to the font. You can replace all of the font if you're not sure, if you don't like how closely matched it is. You can go in and definitely replace all of the font, but you definitely don't need to. Alrighty. So what I'm going to do though is I'm actually not going to be working with the white one, but I just wanted to show you that in case you chose the feminine design. So I'm actually going to just delete these off my screen for the now, just so that we can work with the boy one. Now, I have a few different colors to choose from. I've been toying up with what colors would look best on the black, and I'm actually thinking that I might make the green yellow and make it just a yellow and blue board on the black. I think that the yellow will stand out a little bit more. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to simply hide my square, so I'm only cutting the 2 pieces I need. I'm going to click make it, and then what this tells me, I don't need to mirror it at all, but what this tells me I need is a piece that is about 7 inches wide for the yellow, and a piece that's about 8 inches wide for the blue. So I'm going to hit continue, and I'm going to select my machine. Actually, that is the wrong machine. I have way too many machines, so I'm going to select a different machine. Yes, cancel that cut. I believe it's this one. Let's make sure it pairs. Yep, we've paired. My light has gone blue on my maker. And I'm going to use a vinyl setting. You can go in and select premium vinyl, but I'm just going to select vinyl. That's fine for me. So I'm going to come over and I'm just going to change back to the views. So I'm working with premium permanent vinyl from Cricut. This one here is the pastel sampler, so it has a lighter blue in it, which is what I was hoping for. But I actually have decided I like the yellow with it, which isn't quite pastel yellow. So I'm actually going to just put this piece of pink back in because I've used all the other colours of the pastel sampler, and pop him off to the side. I did have the brights sampler as well. Hi Patty. But I decided that these were a little bit too bright and that I would just work with the colours here. The blue on this looks a little bit dark for what I was after. So I'm just going to pop that to the side as well. Alrighty, and let's change the view so that you can see what I'm doing. I don't have, whoop, something fell. Don't have quite the same setup as what I normally have. So I'm just going to change over here so you can see the cutting of things. I've had a few, I got lazy basically with my craft room and everything's a mess. So we know that I needed, we'll just move this so you can see it. I needed 7 inches of yellow. So I just come down to the 7-inch line and give that a slice. So that's my piece of yellow that I need. And with my blue, I needed 8 inches of that one. So once again, just pop it under, make that 8, slice it, and that's the piece I need. So now that we're finished with our slicing, we just simply need to load our mats. So I've got a brand new mat here. And I'm just going to see if I can turn it so you can see a little bit more. Alrighty, so I've got a brand new mat and we're going to cut the yellow first. So I'm going to apply the yellow down. And I love my brayer. I use it to apply my vinyls and everything. A lot of people use their extra large scraper, but I find that if I use this directly on the glossy vinyls, it scratches it. So I try not to use that unless it's on top of the transfer tape. So I just give that a burnish to make sure it's stuck. It's a brand new mat, so I don't have any issues with it being stuck down properly. Whew. So I have turned on that. I've loaded my mat. And I've also just jumped in and changed it to fast mode so that it cuts a little bit faster. So I'm going to get that started. Alrighty. Whilst that's cutting, I can jump over and see if anybody has any questions. Feel free to ask anything that you haven't heard before, or you know, if you're new, please let me know that you're here. I've been a little unwell lately, so I'm sorry if I seem a little bit flat. I've been a few issues, but nothing major, nothing that will keep me from you guys. I hope everyone had a good Christmas and good New Year's. So right now we're just cutting the vinyl. This is going to be a really quick tutorial, so I didn't want it to be too short. So I wanted to show you guys it all cutting. I'll wait for that to keep going. Sharon's craft shed is in turmoil too, as they got hit with a storm and it flooded through. Now it's at the drying out stage. Yeah, so we thankfully all of my craft space is upstairs, but we too got hit with a bit of a storm before Christmas. Not recent, I did see your one recently, but we got hit with a bit of a storm just before Christmas, maybe a week beforehand, and I know exactly what it's like when you're in that drying out phase. Definitely, if you caught me on Nat's Crafty Life, I did share a video of how wet we were. So hopefully not too much damage for you there, Sharon. Fingers crossed that it was all recoverable. And just check how long we've got going on this one. We're at 69%. So to anybody, and just in the meantime, to anybody who is new, next week we do go live every week, but next week Paul will be live on Scissors Paper Paul, and he will also be doing another back to school project. I'm not sure exactly what he'll be making, but something. Yes, Pezza, I was definitely very wet. It was, we got something like 150 mils in 3 hours, which apparently is a freak of nature. So it's not been fun, although it's been constant wet. Our backyard's waterlogged still, so there hasn't been really much of a reprieve in terms of the rain or anything like that. But the heat's still here, which I can only blame like Mother Nature for. So we've just finished our yellow. Just going to unload, and I'm going to turn my mat over and remove my vinyl away from my mat, away from my vinyl. That way it doesn't curl up too much. That's just the natural curl of the roll. So I'm going to place the next one on, and whilst this one is cutting, I will get to weeding the other one. So just giving it a nice roll. So that's all good. We'll pop this one in. We'll move that out of the way, and we'll press start. Now I can probably save a little bit off the bottom of here. So I'm just going to get my trimmer out and line that up with the bottom of the design. So I've saved a little bit of a scrap. I will use that and move that off to the side, and I will start weeding. Now you can slice this apart so you don't waste as much, but honestly the amount of time it takes to piece it all back together. Oh no, this bad boy didn't cut very well. Alrighty, let me just pause. So what's happened is that my blade must be needing replacement. So I'm just going to jump over through into here and cancel my cut. This does happen from time to time. What have we got here? 58 mils in like 5 minutes. It's crazy. That is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. Alrighty. So what I've had to do is I've cancelled my cut because the blade in here is not very good. It always happens when I'm live that something goes wrong. So what I'm going to just quickly do is, while I keep talking to you, I'm just going to change my blade. So the blade that I'm changing it to is just the blade in my other maker, just so I don't have to get the packet out right now. I should have tested this machine before I did my live, but nonetheless, I've got a new one in, and I'm going to tell my machine to go now. So we'll just connect to this machine. I won't be able to use my yellow again, so I'm going to have to change my color and recut it later. Alrighty, we'll put it on fast mode and hit go. So, where we are at, let's see, I'm just going to change back here. So unfortunately, my vinyl did not cut very well. I don't know if you can see that. I might be able to reuse this at places, but the yellow is definitely a no-go for now. So because it's going to be for a boy, lucky I got this out, I must have known. I'll pick another colour that will go with the blue. Oh, Suzette, I never have much luck with the lives, but you know what? I would rather you guys see things going wrong and know that it happens to everybody than think that what we do is perfect. Because it's definitely not. So in this pack, I have a lot of cute colours, one of which is not as bright of a blue, bright of a yellow, but I could use any of these colours. So the blue it's going with, I think that's a little bit too dark. I don't think I like anything except for maybe the red. The red and the blue might work together. I think all the other colours are a little bit too dark to go on a black background. So I'm going to do red, and I'll roll these guys up. No, I would, like I said, I would much rather just simply show you guys how it is when I craft as well. I'm not claiming to be a professional. I'm not claiming to get it right every time. I very much have not used this maker for probably a good, I don't know, I would say I haven't used the machine for maybe over 2 months. It's just been sitting in the background. Before this goes anywhere, because I've had to recut it, I'm just going to test to make sure that the vinyl lifts. So I can see here that I could lift my vinyl easily, which means I know it's cut. So I'm going to unload that. And I'm going to turn it over to remove it. Yeah, I think red looks good too, Patty. And I'm going to, I'll slice this down in a moment afterwards, after it's cut. So I'm just going to apply the red to the mat. And just give it, it's got a bit of an air bubble, but we'll get it there. All good. So we'll just make sure that the yellow one is selected, and it is, and I'll just hit start. So whilst that's going, I will do this one, but I'll trim it down as well. So all I simply do is look for the cut lines and line it up. Bit of trim, got some blue to use later. I always keep my scraps, so I'm a scrap, I was going to say I'm a scrappy girl, but I'm not really what you would call a scrappy girl. Look, honestly, Suzette, I just change it. I mean, you can try and cut twice, but generally it's going to cut in the same spot. So maybe it's that side of the blade. Let me check. Because even this one is cut, but it's not weeding very well. Should have used my other machine, but I didn't want to unplug it, replug it. So I've got my little bit of bits done here. You can definitely recut, add extra pressure. This one here doesn't seem to like me very well. And I'm just going to see, no, I don't have my pair of scissors here. Of course I don't have my pair of scissors here. I always like to keep everything close by, and I hold it up when I'm weeding. Okay, so it's just stuck to my finger, of course. I'm just going to open up a pair of scissors to get a pair of scissors out of this packet of tools, because my scissors have gone walkabouts. Alrighty, so I will slice down and trim down any excess vinyl that I don't need, so that I don't end up with it sticking to itself. Just check for any more comments. So I'm going to say that this vinyl is just not cutting very well. It could be my machine. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go to all of these dots and just give it a little bit of tear at the corners. So if I find that it doesn't weed very well, I just give it a tear at the corners. It should be a lot easier to weed than this. So please, this could be just my machine that I obviously didn't test. I'm just giving myself something. There we go. So from here, I'm just going to take these dots and just slightly hold them down. So just got a few dots here. But the good thing is you know that everybody has adversity from time to time with their machines. So not everybody is as perfect. Paul and I always make errors. Sometimes you don't see the errors because we don't show you our mistakes. We show you our successes. Alrighty, so I've got those dots done. I'm going to trim this off so that I know that I've got them done. I'm just going to check this one here. All right, I'm just going to quickly make it recut for me. So we're going to try it out. Alrighty. Oh, Ricky, what kind of, sorry, Erica, what kind of drawers have you got? So I'm just going to take the insides of these out. Let's get this little pencil. Little notebook there. Yes, is that it's good to have them back on, I think. We did definitely need the little break. That much is for sure. But now I'll have to start planning them all. I've definitely started planning my classes back again. So to have the lives back on is a great start. So there's nothing here, just that little dot there. I'm actually really sweating tonight. Oh, fitting your maker onto your desk. You'll have to show me what that looks like. I'm always, even though I love my craft room, I'm forever trying to figure out new and inventive ways of organizing. So I've got a couple of ideas up my sleeve that I'm going to go and take a lot of my vinyls out of their packaging, which can be slightly annoying, but I know all of my vinyls are Cricut. So at least I'll know that much. And Cricut vinyl is great because it tells us on the back what type it is. Suzette, I did try and call him prior to the live tonight to see if he'll be back for his tea for 10. I'm not sure if it's going to start off this week or if he's just going to enjoy a little bit more time off and then start it up maybe next week. But I will get him. He will definitely post about it. I know that much for sure. We'll find out unless he jumps on tonight because he's back at work full time, which is great. So he's a little bit busy at the moment, whereas I'm still on leave. I go back to work on Monday. So I'm going to be definitely not looking forward to Monday morning and waking up at a normal hour. I've tried every day this week to get up at a reasonable work associated hour, and I've been not successful for that. So we will definitely see a tired me on Monday. Let's hope I don't get any mail. Because if I get happy mail, I generally come back and show you guys. That's why I'm hoping for no mail. Because if I have to show you guys mail, you'll see me yawning. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. And we just have a few more dots to get and then we'll be perfectly fine. Now I'm using the back side of my weeding tool to just really get it weeded. Because I don't want any pieces. There's only one more dot left. There we go. And we definitely have this bad boy weeded. It's just a couple of dots in here. I'm hoping Paul will be back. I missed a lot of his tea for 10s this past, year gone, because I've been doing a lot of online classes and my classes have all been on Sundays. But it's definitely good to see what he gets up to and what he makes and see that general conversation with you guys. Hey Joanne, how are you? Alrighty, so note to self, check blade next time. Alrighty, so we've got that one done. Just going to give this one a quick check. Alright, that came off easy. Yep. Alrighty, so we are definitely looking better for the red and it won't be as scary as the blue was to weed. So I'll put the sheet back on that later, but I'll pop that under there for the now so you're not playing around with it. Once again, I'm just going to trim it down. So just trim down my red. Lots to play with. Alrighty, so this one should weed pretty well. It's probably going to make a liar of me. When I grow up, oops. What do we got? Drawers fit perfect. You'll have to send pictures, post them on the page so that other people know what drawers work. Alrighty. So, definitely a lot easier. Still could have been better. Great thing about the font that's been used is it's got a little bit of freedom in terms of how it sits. So it doesn't have to sit in a straight line. Alrighty, get that little dot down, that little dot down, that dot, that one, and that one. So I'm very thankful I have nieces and nephews I can make this stuff for, because otherwise you'd be out of luck with me for kids stuff. Also, let us know what you'd like to see us do in our tutorials. We like to keep everything useful to us, so don't, you know, we're not going to not say no to something if it's unique and out there, but if it's not something that we would make, then by all means we'll keep it in mind. Better run for dinner, we'll watch the refund. My phone went flat, had to run upstairs and get my iPad to keep watching. No worries. Alrighty. So we're just weeding at the moment because of my problems I've been having. Not too bad right now. Definitely much better than what I had. And now we've just got the inside bits. I don't know what my husband's watching on television, but I can hear it. My teacher is a, or is, not is a, that sounds terrible. Yeah, better late than never, Janet. You haven't missed much. We're just doing the weeding. I just had a few blade issues with my machine. So not a big issue. And of course we plan every tutorial to be like perfect, but you know, I'm just as much of a human as you are. And I would never ever claim to be perfect. I will never tell you that I never make mistakes. I will never tell you that I never throw out vinyl because I've wasted and done something wrong. Cricut of a different kind. Oh, butter chicken, yum. Alrighty, so I've got all my scraps here. I've got my 2 bits weeded. So I'm just going to put my rubbish in the bin because I'm normally a really messy crafter. Well, I am a messy crafter. I'm trying to be clean. Janet, you're watching the Cricut, are you? I don't follow Cricut. I would like to say I can, but it just does my head in. I just don't understand it. So I'm using the standard grip transfer tape. You know it's the standard grip one because it is the grey grids. The purple grid, if you use it, will be the strong grip and is to be used with glitter. So I'm just going to take the tape off because my nails actually don't allow for that to be easily done. Of course, Natalie, you idiot. Alrighty. And I'm going to take out my trimmer once again. I'm actually going to extend the arm. Your husband's watching it on TV, is he? So I'm just going to make it about 8.5 just because I know that some of our pieces are that large. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out my baking paper. So I've just pulled out a piece here. It's not an issue. I'm just going to test a piece of my vinyl. Now, what I want to test on here, because this is new baking paper, I want to test if the words, I'm just going to peel one off if I can. to see if my vinyl sticks to it, which it doesn't. You can see here it doesn't stick to the surface, it moves, which is exactly what I want. Does it stick to that side? No. So now that I've got that, I've just tested to make sure that it doesn't stick, because some people have found some of their baking paper has stuck. We're going to work on the application. Alrighty, so I've taken one side off, but I haven't taken the other. I'm going to start with just the side that we've got here. And I think I will start with the My First Day, the red. So I'm going to get my transfer tape, find the corner, now my husband doesn't watch cricket. My husband's into nerdy stuff like Star Trek or something. So I've layered that over. Alrighty. And now I'm going to peel back. Oh. Mustn't have burnished that side that well. Oh, a little bit on this side here. So I've got that all off. Alrighty. So I can still see that I can lift that up. So I've placed it down on my baking paper with a little hang here. The reason for that is the baking paper is actually quite see-through. So what I'm then going to do is I'm going to get my other piece, which is my blue, and I'm actually going to use my baking paper to see through. Now I'm going to pick this up just so you can see, but you can see through here. So if I move this around, I'll be able to place it where it wants to sit. So this is the baking paper method. So I'm just going to find a spot that looks pretty perfect. I mean, I don't think I'm going to get these dots perfect, but I just moved them. See how that looks. Nope, that needs to go up a little bit. That needs to go down. So I'm actually just going to create that burnish down to my mat, and I'm going to lift up and remove my baking paper. So what I'm doing from here, I'm actually just going to keep the baking paper underneath the top part because I just realized that I don't have anything there. And I don't want it to stick to my mat. So now I've done that. I probably could have gone down a bit lower with my transfer tape, but that's okay because there's no transfer tape up at the bottom of the apple, but that's all right. So now I have that applied. I'm going to give it a burnish from the back. And I've just put my baking paper to the side because I will actually reuse it again in a minute. So I'm just going to peel back and make sure my blue is on. Oh. I feel like sometimes I need 3 hands to do this stuff. Alrighty, so we've got that there done. So we're all on our transfer tape. What I'm going to get is my baking paper again. Now it is important for you guys to know that when doing this baking paper method, when working with acrylic, not when doing the baking paper method, when working with acrylic, you can't clean it with things like rubbing alcohol. I always just clean mine just with like a light unscented baby wipe or some warm water. So I can actually see the black of this through here. what I might just do so I can see the edge of my mat is I'm going to put the green mat underneath it first. So I'm just going to sit this on the green mat so I can see the edges of my acrylic, because my acrylic is dark and so is the self-healing mat. So I kind of find my middle. I'm an eyeballer, you can measure. I can see here that I'm kind of the same off each edge. Top to bottom looks okay. I then give it a burnish onto the acrylic up the top here. So that kind of creates the hinge. And then I lift this up, remove my baking paper. Slide, baby, slide. And I'm actually going to turn this around so it's easy to see. I'm just holding this bad boy up. And I'm just going to gently burnish it down so it still comes down in one piece. Oh, no. Now I can give it a proper burnish. Now it doesn't matter if the transfer tape bubbles. The only main thing is that you want to make sure you burnish your actual vinyl. Alrighty. Great thing about these mats is it holds my acrylic. So when I take my transfer tape off, I don't know if you can see here, but I'm taking it off like on a 180 on itself. There's a little bit here that's not quite burnished well. And you can go over individual letters if you need to. I will just take this off and then I'll go over them. I definitely agree the red and blue looks good together. Just going slowly just so that nothing else lifts up. I'm going to keep my transfer tape, even though it's been used. I'm keeping my transfer tape, and that is because it's reusable. It's completely reusable. If only I knew where I put the, there it is. This bad boy goes to the floor all the time. It's my, so I just place it back on its backing, and I actually pop my transfer tape into a drawer so that I can reuse that again. But for the now, I'll just pop it to the side. I'm just going to remove the mat. Darn it, I thought I had my alarm set to watch. So I'm just giving it a bit of a burnish over here with the brayer. But you can go through and do each individual letter. I've got a couple where there's a few minor bubbles, but nothing that won't come out. So I'll take a nice good photo of it. So for you guys here, that's my black one. So for everyone at home is this one here. So you can see here you've got your white, you can write on it. I've got a marker, but I can't find the box of them. So yeah, we're all done and dusted. I know it probably took longer than it should have, but you know, these things happen when you're, what's the right word? When you're trying to rush and be in a hurry for things. So I've got my two different ones here. Where did I put the white one? Both designs will be available. You can see them both here. I'll share this one on my page later, but feel free to ask any questions if I haven't already covered it. Sorry if I made the weeding look worse than it needed to be. Definitely think this machine needs a bit of a run-in. Definitely think I need to use it a little bit more. So, definitely a great way to do more than one color. It makes it so much easier to get them lined up, especially because the great thing about this one here, well, the hard thing, I guess, is you're wanting to make sure you don't start too far or too low because you need to have room for it down the bottom as well. So I always line them up on my transfer sheet together, and then I apply them together. So the black one, it will be a liquid chalk marker. So it's like a liquid chalkboard marker will work on this. Just checking to see if I have any other questions. Can't see any other comments, so I'm hoping that I've covered everything. But like I said, the project is available in Design Space. I have provided the link as well for you guys. If you are having trouble finding any of it, please let me know. Paul should be back on board next week. I'm not sure about his Tea for 10 on Sunday, but he is definitely going to be live next week with another back to school project. And I guess from there we better start thinking about Valentine's Day because it really isn't that far away. So it's been a pleasure chatting with you guys. Thank you for being so patient with me, and I will see you guys on my next live. All right, you guys have a wonderful night, and I will see you then. Bye.